The Encounter in the Forest. Once upon a time, there was a beautiful forest. A happy little rabbit lived in the forest. Every day, it hopped around and played merrily with its companions. At the end of the forest was a large mountain, whose peak was perpetually covered in snow and ice. No small animal had ever climbed to the top of that snowy mountain, and everyone believed that those who did would never return. It was said that there were many snow men in the shapes of animals on the mountain top. Those were the animals that had once attempted to climb to the summit and were left there forever. When winter came, the air grew very cold, until one day, snowflakes began to fall from the sky. They became bigger and more numerous, and the greenery in the forest was gradually replaced by pure white. Before long, the entire forest was covered in ice and snow. During the days when the forest was blanketed in snow, the little rabbit couldn't bear the boredom of staying at home and often went out to play alone. The world of ice and snow was very quiet, a fragile kind of quiet. All the trees seemed to be asleep. She nimbly leapt from one tree to another, causing the snow on the tree trunks to shake loose and fall down in a flurry. Her breathing and heartbeat seemed to echo. Suddenly, the forest became her own kingdom. Then she met that snow man. The snow man, wearing a red scarf, stood quietly under a pine tree, with a hint of sadness in its big black eyes. It looked up at the sky, lost in thought. The little rabbit was overjoyed. She quietly climbed up the pine tree and dropped down in front of the snow man, trying to startle it. But the snow man just looked at her calmly and said, "Hello, companionship and promise." Hello. The little rabbit smiled awkwardly. The snow man said, "You have a beautiful smile." "I can't smile." A snow man can only have one expression. "I don't know where I came from, nor what I should do. Just watching the sunrise every day makes me happy." The little rabbit slapped her chest and said, "Then I'll accompany you to watch the sunrise from now on." "Really? How many times?" "How many times? Of course, many times. 1,000,000 times." The snow man listened quietly to the little rabbit's bold words without answering. The crisis of the promise. Is this a promise? Sometimes, a simple sentence can be deeply engraved in the hearts of both the speaker and the listener. When we don't know why we are alive, those special words can become the meaning of our lives. Every morning, the little rabbit would appear beside the snow man on time to watch the sunrise with it. The first rays of the sun shone on the snow man's round face, casting a bright red glow, as if with a very special warmth. The little rabbit thought, if the snow man could smile, it would surely be very cute. Unfortunately, the snow man could never learn to smile. The little rabbit tried so hard to teach it, keeping a smiling face all day long, almost to the point of getting cramps from smiling. This was a special winter. The little rabbit didn't feel the cold at all and had a fulfilling time. Throughout the whole winter, she watched the sunrise with the snow man, counted the clouds, and drew on the snow. The little rabbit even tried to teach the snow man to jump, but it was in vain, because for the snow man, this was even more difficult than smiling. Time passed quickly, and spring finally arrived. When they were watching the 55th sunrise, the snow man's face was covered with water droplets, which startled the little rabbit. The little rabbit asked, "Snow man, why are you crying?" The snow man said, "I'm not crying. Spring has come, and I'm going to melt." The little rabbit panicked and shouted, "Don't melt, don't melt. We agreed to watch 1,000,000 sunrises." The snow man was sweating all over, with water marks on its face. It said calmly, "I can only live in winter. When winter is over, I'll disappear. Even you can only live for a few decades. How is it possible to watch 1,000,000 sunrises? You fool. Thank you for accompanying me to watch these 55 sunrises. I'll always remember them. Please don't forget me either." The little rabbit shook her head desperately. "No, I said I would take you to watch 1,000,000 sunrises, and I will definitely do it. I won't let you disappear. You've never smiled at me." The rescue and sacrifice. At this moment, the little rabbit suddenly turned her head and looked towards the snowy mountain at the end of the forest. She made a decision in her heart. She picked up the snow man and rushed towards the foot of the mountain like a gust of wind. When they reached the foot of the mountain, the snow man, on the verge of collapse, finally realized the little rabbit's intention. It said weakly, "Don't go up. The blizzard up there will freeze you to death." The little rabbit said, "I want to give you a winter that never ends. The little rabbit held the snow man tightly and began to climb the mountain. As the altitude increased, the power of the blizzard grew stronger. The little rabbit gritted her teeth and struggled to climb. She looked at the snow man in her arms. The snow man had stopped melting but still didn't wake up. I don't know how long it took, but they miraculously reached the top of the snowy mountain. The little rabbit, almost frozen stiff, released her trembling hands and placed the snow man on a huge rock facing the east. Then she sat down beside it, feeling a sense of relief. She could no longer feel the cold. She knew that she was about to freeze to death. The snow man beside her was being reshaped by the blizzard. It was believed that it would open its eyes again soon. Before the little rabbit froze into ice, she forced out her last smile with all her strength. This smile was frozen in time and sealed forever. The ending. When the snow man woke up, it saw the little rabbit beside it, already frozen stiff, but still smiling at it, as if teaching it how to smile as usual. The snow man smiled. There was a line of words engraved on the ground. Don't melt. Don't leave me. We agreed to watch a million sunrises, not one less. Once upon a time, there was a mountain. On the top of the mountain, there was a huge rock. A snow man and a rabbit sat on the huge rock on the snowy mountain, leaning against each other. For 3,000 years, when the snow